City Staple Council meeting to order. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So with that out of the way, we'll ask for approval of tonight's agenda. We'd like to remove item number 4, right? Yeah.
Okay.
From the agenda.
So move. Second.
Second.
Oh, this is how it's gonna be tonight. We got 2 motions and 2 seconds.
All right, well, you take your pick. We'll call Doug the motion and Ron the second. I don't know. So, any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. That'll move us to item 3, and that's the approval of our consent calendar, which is minutes of the previous meeting. Payment of bills. Motion by Ron, second by Roy. Discussion? Not hearing any, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. It'll move us to item number 5, and that's to consider the second reading and adoption of ordinance 533. That's the amendment to the city code, chapter 6, section 63, to include chicken regulations.
So
Motion by
Second.
Roy, second by Ron. Discussion? Not hearing any, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 6 is to consider adoption of our Safe Routes to School revised plan.
is it revised?
It's revised. So in your packet, cover like that, I'm sure all of you studied this. Just by way of a little bit of a history on Safe Routes to School, there's really been 2 planning processes that our community has gone through in less than 10 years, 2013 and then again in 2017. Representatives from the school district, the city, Todd County has had some people, Lakewood has had some people participating in the Safe Routes to School plans. The 2013 one had a lot of detail, very descriptive as far as what the identified needs for trailer sidewalk connections, education, different things that can be done to facilitate safe pedestrian or bicycle activity from home to school and vice versa. 2017 was very general and also included the city of Motley in that process. Of course, since that time, with the school building in Motley being closed, any reference to the Safe Routes to School plan, reference that the plan made to Motley, basically was kind of null and void. So Melissa has been working with Tad Erickson from Region 5 and then also MnDOT, got their blessing basically to combine the plans, take this 2017 one, take the information related to Motley out, take detail from 2013 and put it in, because it was really very general in nature. And so she has done that, and what you see basically is this revised Safe Routes to School plan. Not to kind of jump to the next item, but the reason that we wanted to do this, the school district, obviously now with their building projects and paving projects and with the Motley building being closed, they know where the school buildings are going to be, contacted us and expressed interest in the community applying for a Safe Routes to School infrastructure grant. Of course, with the grant application to MnDOT, we need to have an adopted plan, and that it means both adopted by the school district and also the city. School district adopted it last Monday. The process going forward as far as a grant application basically is, 1, adopt the plan, so we can check that box that the city council has adopted the plan. Two is to submit the letter of intent, which is, basically our next agenda item. Because we are not a state aid city, we also will be working with Todd County. We went down to the county board meeting last Tuesday, presented the information to them. They approved a resolution indicating that Todd County will be our state aid sponsor. So all of the funding and expenditures will flow through Todd County. Basically, they'll handle that whole process. We've got history, obviously, working with Todd County on the overpass project and the turnback project and everything else, so that I anticipate all going very smoothly. So step one, what we're asking for is adoption of the revised 2017 Safe Routes, Staples-Motley Safe Routes to School Plan. Before we maybe go too far, I'll talk a little bit about what we're proposing from this plan. So in your packet, there's a map with some lines drawn on it. Three different trail segments are identified on here. One is a trail segment that connects Airport Road to 4th Street, north of the elementary school. Do you guys are you able to see it on there okay? Oh.
Pretty hard.
I wonder if I can sure.
Mine's off in the truck.
Yeah. Say again.
I think I've got it, yeah, I've got one from EDA here too.
Oh, I don't need one.
Yeah, I'm.
Here you go. So anyway, three different segments, one from Airport Road over to 4th Street. Another one from Airport Road to, kind of that corner by Colson's house on 3rd Avenue. Coming off the overpass, you got a lot of pedestrian activity up there, utilizing the trail coming on the overpass and kind of a nowhere to go once they get to 3rd Avenue. So we want to tie that back in so that students can get to the high school, okay, without having to walk on the road to do it. And then the third segment is from the high school going north on the east side of 2nd Street up to Summit, and going east along Summit over to 3rd, and then at that intersection turning and going north up along the baseball, varsity baseball field and tennis courts up to the elementary school. So the plan identified many more pedestrian needs in the community. I think a number of you that have been involved in some of the planning processes and stuff like that, other missing segments of sidewalk. One of those is the, along 4th Street. When you get down, to the elementary school coming south from Warner Road, you basically have to cross over to the east side of the road to get sidewalk. The plan identified sidewalk basically going all the way down the west side of 4th Street from Warner to basically the high rise where it would start up again. That's not included in this, not because it's not a identified priority, but because we do anticipate in the not too distant future doing a reconstruction project along with Todd County on 4th Street. And so the sidewalk will actually be put in at that time. But we can't put it in now and then tear it out, otherwise they'll probably make us pay them back. We don't want that. So with the grant, it's 50,000 to 500,000 is the range that you can apply for. And the total for the trail segments that are identified on the map are, right around 389, I believe, that those three would take up. There is a fairly healthy contingency, a 20% contingency in that estimate. We don't anticipate that that's going to come into play, but the engineers added that. mostly because the engineering that they did was very high level, all off aerial photos, no soil borings or, any of that kind of stuff, so. We think the number without the contingency is actually pretty darn close, based on some information from local contractors, so. So that's, that's basically what we're proposing to submit, to MnDOT. And like I said, there's kind of two pieces, that we're requesting approval on tonight. One is the adoption of the plan itself, and then, the other is the submission of the letter of intent to apply. Timeline on that, letter of intent is due the end of this week. If we're invited to submit a full application, that's early January, that would need to be put in.
I move adoption of Safe Roads to School revised plan.
Second.
Okay, motion by Ron, second by Roy. Any discussion? Okay, not hearing any. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I'll move approval of resolution 1855 regarding the city of Safe letter of intent to apply for funding to the Minnesota Safe Roads to School program.
Okay, we got a motion by Ron for resolution 1855.
I'll second.
Second by Roy. Discussion? Okay, not hearing any. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Well, that'll move us to item 8, and that's to consider a request from Sacred Heart Catholic Church to conduct bingo on November 21st at Sacred Heart Catholic Church.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Ron, second by Doug. Discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. Item 9 is to consider approval of resolution 1856, calling for a public hearing on proposed assessments for the non-payment of delinquent utility bills.
Copy of the resolution, in your packet. And I think, what is there, 3? Two. So not a very long list, but, growing number. So I just want to kind of keep up with it rather than doing just once a year.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion by Roy. Second by Ron. Discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I'll take us to committee reports, and we have one, planning and zoning.
Planning and zoning met on Tuesday, the 19th of October. The overwhelming majority of the meeting had to do with language that's currently only in the mobile or manufactured home section of the zoning ordinance. You recall probably a year or maybe a little bit longer ago, we added, one of the requirements was minimum 24-foot width. Single family, the R1 zone did not require that, so we added that, and you can't discriminate against mobile or manufactured homes, so you gotta have, similar language. But one of the pieces of language in the current zoning ordinance, talks about the longest dimension of this structure shall be placed parallel to the narrowest dimension of the lot. And you almost have to draw a picture, but I think the intent when it was put in place was, looking at 50-foot lots, not allowing mobile homes to be plopped into 50-foot lots, parallel with the lot. But what we're actually proposing is to modify that, keep the rest of it the same, but basically say the front door has to face the street. Because you get into these situations where you have a 75-foot lot and setbacks and all the rest of that. But I think for the most part, it's common sense. Front door faces the street. If it's a corner lot, a mobile or manufactured home could go on a corner lot. You have 2 streets to choose from, but with setbacks, you need more than a 50-foot lot to turn and go sideways. So a deep thinker on the Planning and Zoning Commission came up with the front door facing the street. Right, Doug? And it works. And Joe Kruger's like, I don't think,
Thinking about that since I was 6.
it, you know, you draw out all the different scenarios and, you know, it works. It's understandable to everybody. And, so what, you know, ultimately, what we're gonna do is actually put that ordinance language together, run it through the planning and zoning one more time, and then it'll ultimately come to the council. So that was it. That was 5:34, adjourned.
Any questions? Okay, we'll go to open forum. Waiting for open forum. City administrators report.
Let's see, talk about Todd County and planning and zoning. So next meeting, that's the one you are not at, correct, Roy? The next one, 1st November?
May not be.
May not, okay.
Most likely not. But
You don't have confidence that you're gonna fill that?
it depends on the children more than the deer.
Ah, gotcha. They might chase you out.
You know, I have grandkids that I want to stay there.
Yeah, yeah. So anticipate, you know, having some stuff on wastewater treatment plant at the next meeting. Elizabeth Wafel from the coalition that we struck out on our technology 2 weeks ago will be joining us in 2 weeks. She wasn't available here tonight. And then we'll, at that point, do the second reading and adoption of the land sale ordinance and approved purchase agreement with Lakewood. And so, got a lot of agenda items for the next meeting already. It's still 2 weeks away. So that's all I have unless there's questions.
How about the water treatment plant?
What's that?
How about the treatment plant? How they doing?
They are.
Just water running through it pretty soon?
Well, we hope so. We've got a meeting on site actually tomorrow afternoon, so we'll get an update. We got the 3-week look ahead. Paving is done, the first lift on everything. The fittings that they were waiting for are in, and I'm assuming installed? Shipped. Oh, shipped. Dang it.
What?
Shipped. But at least they're shipped. They ordered them in April.
On a ship?
So yeah. They in San Francisco somewhere or what?
Long Beach.
When they say shipped, hopefully it means on a truck.
So, but we're, you know, I think at our council meeting a couple weeks ago, we talked a little bit about it, but basically trying to get a defined substantial completion date proposed from them. And they've been reluctant to do that because they can't, you know, they don't know when they're getting their stuff. And so when we met, that must have been 2 weeks ago on Wednesday, they were throwing out December 11th, 10th? December 10th. And, you know, our response to them was put it in writing. You know, we want something that you're confident that you can meet, but we do, you know, we want a deadline. And, you know, so ultimately what we're gonna get from them is a request. We'll run that through Public Works Commission and ultimately bring it to the council and have them actually come up, you know, have the engineers and Magny come to that meeting and explain why, you know, why they need that. But the discussion, you know, 2 weeks ago at the construction meeting was, you know, when do you want to start filling the tanks? You know, because there needs to be, you know, that bacteria for the process to work. I think Dell basically said it's not going to be any warmer in January than it is in December. So I think his recommendation is let's get going. So, but we'll have some more detail after the meeting tomorrow. We hope, and you know, like I say, we requested from them that it be, you know, in writing, you know, with what their proposal is, and think Scott shared, at the last meeting, we're kind of operating on okay, we got a pot of money that we're holding, and Magny, anything that goes wrong at the current plant, after the contract substantial completion date, which so far I think it's just been a pump, a couple $100 that they and Magny paid for that. They're gonna pay for any of the maintenance stuff, and they're also paying for any additional engineering time as a result of the project extending further. So we don't have any additional costs beyond what we had agreed to in the contract. And then, like I say, we've got a 15 grand sitting there, and every month they're paying these other costs directly. If they don't, it comes out of that 15 grand. And then, in order to modify the contract as far as substantial completion, has to come to the council, so. But that's what we've been operating on thus far. And it's, it's a little bit of a, difficult to really assess. I mean, I'm sure there's things that probably could have been done sooner, but there's also things that they just had no control over. If equipment or supplies or parts or whatever aren't on site, they can't install them. And I think we talked about kind of that chain reaction of different things. These fittings that are shipped were ordered in April. Something that you'd probably get in 3 days normally. So it's tough. But like I say, first lift of tar is down. So we don't, we aren't gonna deal with, one of my big concerns was getting so late in the year that you couldn't pave and get a good, get good compaction and get a good base. First lift is down, so snow removal, will be, easy during the winter. It's not gonna be a sloppy, slippery mess for the guys and our equipment to operate in. And, so we will see what we get from them tomorrow.
We adjourn. Second.
Motion by Roy, second by Ron to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Hello, Moto?